This is the Team 2 report for Iteration 5. Our team consists of Alexis, Catherine, Nathaniel, Ridge, Riley, and Shankton. There were two parts to my work this iteration. One was to clean the business data table. That included splitting it up to two different tables. One that Riley used, which had these two columns suitable for his user story, and one for me, which I used to create a heat map. I ended up joining a lot of different tables together to create this heat map. This was the second part of my work. There wasn't any strong correlations I could find regarding the outside data from the census and the given static data. Some more in-depth statistical analysis could be warranted, but at first glance, this seems to be a very low amount of correlation between the establishments and the type of establishments and the given static data.
Hello, my name is Rouse Need, and I'll be talking about what I've done for Iteration 5. So, the first thing I did was I created a heat map that showed the correlation between the education table that I found and the data that Transcorp gave us. So, the first thing that I did was I pretty much coded this right here to create the heat map, which actually took me the longest. And right there is the heat map that halfway loaded. But you can see right here what the actual heat map means. And the two things that I've seen right here that really pops out to me is the percent complete of this disbursement and the expired disbursements. So, and that's what I did. I pretty much just removed all the table that really didn't, pretty much the tables that didn't really have no correlation to them or anything. So you can see right here where the tables that I kept pretty much. And this table is the party top, like the single and multi-party apartments. So the second thing I did was after one of my teammates completed their user story, I created a table that shows the different um, the um, the famous or most popular business type within that zip code, which is from the apartments zip codes pretty much. And it was supposed to be a card, but we didn't get the filter to work, so we had to go with this table. And the last thing we did was we were supposed to clean up the reports to make them look better, and then add stuff we need to. So, and that is it, and thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Ridge Longway, and this is my Iteration 5 showcase. For this iteration, I have two graphs to help show visualizations of the correlations found in the previous iteration. These two graphs, you could see a number of similarities. They both use the same x and y axis so that they could be as similar as possible, with those being the average number of recipients and the percent below poverty. You can see general clustering between the 0 to 20% range on both of them, showing that the vast majority of the cases provided are between the 0 and 20% below poverty level rates. This is going to be important in just a little bit. You can also notice that the vast majority of apartments have about 1.5 or below people, and you could also see that there is a general downward trend as the poverty rate goes up. Less people are living together in apartments. This is a very interesting insight because I figured that it would actually be the other way around, that as poverty went up, more people would live in apartments together to help split the bill so that they could better afford it. This could, though, have to do with the way that the United States defines poverty versus the way that maybe we do. Because when a lot of us think about poverty, we usually think about people struggling to get by. But when the US government thinks of poverty, it is a flat number. It isn't, there's no subjectivity to it. It is a flat number, roughly $14,000 a year in salary. Doesn't matter if you live in New York City or if you live in like a random city in Tennessee. It's roughly that level, and that defines your poverty. So if your area has higher prices than others, that doesn't change what the poverty level is, which could impact the way that this is displaying. This could be why a lot more locations have between a 0 to 20% rather than more. Or it could also be an indication that in the places with a higher poverty rate, there are a lot less people that could even afford to rent a place because the way the US defines poverty could be a lot lower than meets expectations to be able to afford rent. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.
Hello, this is Catherine. First, this correlation matrix was reformatted to show only the correlations between population and the apartment data variables. This entailed simple changes to the code, and the final product is shown here. Next, a visualization was created based on the correlations. Overall, the relationships were fairly weak. The first correlation graph was the relationship between population and number of recipients. This shows the number of recipients for each apartment complex with a legend for state. The next visualization is a similar format, however it shows the relationship between population and the average total disbursement amount. This was primarily created to verify a lack of relationship. The visualization shown here shows the same relationship, but is based on the apartments rather than state. Lastly, a bar chart was created to show the relationship between the average number of recipients and the payment made flag. This shows that the higher the number of recipients, the more likely it is that a payment is not made. That's all for me.
For this iteration, I compared median income with exploration rate, completion rate, average feedback, single and multi-party counts. I created this correlation matrix, and then I created the scatter plots with completion and expiration rates and single multi-party counts. I made a slicer. Oops. Let's see. The correlation rate with the chord up here. Still trying to get the slicer to work with graphs. The closest I've come is here with the scatter plots. So after, hopefully I'll get the slicers to work soon. This is what I did for iteration 5.
My name is Shangtian. In this iteration, we worked on heat map. In this heat map, I would like to give credit to Rich Longway. He helped me with creating heat map of helped me with the Python. And then the next thing is creating a visualization. So here, this will be the household size and completion rate, and this will be household size and feedback. And this is a visualization of the household size and expiration, and this one also the household size with multi and single. For visualization, this will be the higher number, as we can see, and then the last thing is that here we can see the household to the household size and the apartment name. Right here we can see the highest number, which is the total household size in this apartment and in this zip code. And then here will be the lowest one, which is the apartment is just one, and the total household size is a bit higher, as we can see. And that's all for me. Thank you so much. And this will be our iteration 5 showcase. Thank you for listening.